You know what's funny is Coy and I, we put up a podcast an hour ago, and in it we had talked about what are some concerns about Fantastic Four.
Will they be abated, Greg, or deepened?
Will it completely be alleviated here all of a sudden? But anyway, thank you both for calling me and waking me up out of a very restful 14 hours of sleep I got. So, thanks.
Greg means 4 hours because he actually hasn't slept.
Let's go, people.
Wow, folks, we all know the story.
Ted Gilbert.
4 brave astronauts head off into space and come back forever changed.
The Alex Rodda thing was incredible.
Wow. Well, we're just getting into it. Oh.
Our city, our planet, owe a debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
It's the Kirby Report.
This is beautiful.
Fantastic Four.
Great. Wow, really celebrities. Cool.
Serious as ever.
Herbie, how's that sauce looking? Okay.
The thing is, the real star.
You're late.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? You're late for dinner.
And pregnant.
Yes, we are.
You late?
I just said that.
Are you pregnant?
Oh.
You're gonna be the best mom in the world. And you are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth. We are gonna be the best uncles ever.
We can do this. Nothing's going to change.
Oh, I'm glad they confirmed it. It's cute. We just got a pregnancy notification.
Are you the protectors?
Yeah, there she is.
Yes, we are.
Your planet is now
Oh.
marked for death.
Interesting.
Oh,
that's
why
where
he
the
was
shot's
falling.
And they hurt.
Ooh, I got some chills, man. I got some. Oh, I got chills.
Safe? I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Actually, yeah, I'm loving the stakes here.
I'm not.
Also getting chills.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
2 shots of
We
looking
will
up.
fight it together. As a family.
So much more Silver Surfer.
Yeah, a ton. Oh.
Wow.
Has to be us.
Boom.
Oh, some stretches.
A one-handed.
We will protect you.
All right.
Wow.
Oh, it's a fan. This is. I never got the link before.
Oh.
Oh, shit. They're like, you thought he wasn't big?
He's gonna
We're
be
gonna
big.
show you how big he can be. You know what's also amazing, guys, is all you folks out there who last time and throughout the past couple months have bought yourself some Reject Nation apparel, including, of course, the Fantastic Four Richards Road shirt here.
right.
And then, you know, we got the Daredevil Hallway Hazard. We got the Spider Club. Each one is a great way to help support the channel, especially because we are getting copyright claim through the roof. So thank you. And Aaron, thanks for composing all of these shirts, man.
Oh,
you did
thank
such a
you.
great job.
Marvelous trifecta here.
Would not be possible without our artists. So go support them. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, Sammy.
Speaking of artists, art has been adapted. Aaron, I'll go to you first, man. How you feeling about this trailer, buddy?
I feel great. I feel really good. The first trailer got me excited, but this one really gave me a sense of the scope and how much in peril they're going to be. I think the fact that, you know, they are these people that are posed as the sole saviors of this world and now being in a position where we may not be able to save our world, and how disappointing people can be given that they're both hero and celebrity. I think that's going to be really interesting. I don't know if we've seen that particular thing before. And I think the way that they're still continuing to capture that 60s feel, even the way the Silver Surfer is designed, something about it feels kind of retro, even in the way that she moves and stuff. So I think that's very cool. Yeah, I think it really captures the heart of what this family is about, not only in its tone of the world, but also with the family. I was concerned about how Joseph Quinn would be as Johnny Storm, but he seems like he captures that pretty well enough for what this tone is. I liked Pedro Pascal in the moments we saw him. He was a lot of just looking back and forth, but I think he's going to kill it. And Sue Storm, she looks like she's going to be the heart of the family, and I like the fact that we are actually doing the pregnancy storyline. We're doing this thing where it's first steps into the MCU, first steps as parents, and I wonder how that's going to play into it.
Franklin's first steps.
Galactus's first steps.
Yeah.
First steps, exactly.
First steps.
And yeah, Galactus looks great, and yes, he's obviously bigger than a planet, but he can change sizes and whatnot. So I'm excited to see how that comes to fruition. But yeah, this got me more hyped than the first trailer did, which is the job of any good trailer. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
Let's face facts here, Coy. It's time for you to monologue, baby. It's time for you to take it away. It's time for you to do the whole video.
I'm a man of two minds. On one side, I really love they're going Alex Ross, and it's very inspired by Alex Ross. This feels like the Marvels. This feels like the covers Alex Ross paints. This feels like that era that he captures so well. But in that era is this grandiose stoicism. And Greg's talked about this quite a bit, and I completely agree that it is an interesting choice to make something like this stoic, and it feels almost reactionary to the greater MCU. I feel like the Marvel Universe right now is in a course correction, and while they're course correcting, I feel like they were like, well, people say we do too much comedy. How about we do the most serious film you've ever seen? And it's really interesting to see Marvel's first family, which are adventurers, which are swashbucklers, where are this great scientifically minded team. And I get how you can lean into the science, and I get how you can lean into that tone, and I think that element is wonderful. But even the comedy feels stiff. Like, to me, the Human Torch jokes were like, okay. And like that's concerning because the usual levity is like, Reed is hard to deal with, and then Ben Grimm is navigating all this trauma, but he's finding ways to get through it, and then Johnny is like the punchline to kind of like, and then Sue is trying to just keep the family together. Like those dynamics are really hard when everyone feels stoic, and that could just be the presentation of the trailer. This is establishing a different tone, and Marvel's in a really tricky spot because it's 18 years in next year. Like they have an adult child of run, and now you have to find new ways to reinvent the wheel. This is a new team. How do you make them feel different in celebrity? How do you make this world feel different? So it makes sense in the marketing to aggressively pivot into this beautiful Alex Ross tone, into this really like regal, looking up and grandeur and all that stuff. That absolutely works tonally for a trailer. My only concern is when we're watching the film, if that stoicism and that feeling of rigidness and that almost frigidness on top of rigidness becomes something that makes it feel stiff. And that would be what would break Mr. Fantastic. It cannot feel stiff. So my concern is that the movie won't feel like the fun and whimsy and weird of Kirby, and instead it'll feel like the rigidity of talking to someone that was alive in the 60s that's mansplaining comics to you. Because that, to me, is the vibes, and I'm not sure yet if I feel like this puts me a little bit more worried about that element. The movie looks beautiful. The absolute scope of seeing Galactus warms my comic heart. Obviously, I'm very excited, but there are elements that I'm like, oh, those things I was worried about, I'm not less worried about, but it could just be the marketing use as opposed to the movie, but we don't know yet.
And Galactus, why does he have boobs?
What's
happening there?
That's
Did Galactus have boobs?
he made a choice.
Galactus had a lot of boobs.
Tons 8.
18
I didn't
boobs.
understand
The
what's
cats.
happening there.
That's easy to attack him.
Yeah.
Why does no one
Galactus
have
mouth.
boobs?
There it is. Yeah, Silver Surfer. I assume we're gonna do the thing where it's showing the multiverse and the Fantastic Four interacting with her, and then they get put in our universe and we meet Norrin. But I think she's gonna be the marker, like the canary in the coal mine, right?
Yeah.
Like she's the thing that makes us realize. But she kind of looks like the Rise of Silver Surfer to me.
I thought this whole trailer was like, oh, the remake of Rise of Silver Surfer.
But like
It's Galactus and Silver Surfer. What do you expect?
But Galactus, obviously, we're not getting the cloud, thankfully.
Right, yeah.
But I just mean that the special effects on Silver Surfer, there's again, I'm of two minds. One side is like, what else would a Silver Surfer look like? And on the other side, I was like, 20 years later, CGI looks pretty similar on a Silver Surfer. So I am very conflicted on this trailer.
Interesting.
Yeah, here's what I'm wondering. like what Coy and I talked about in the pod, was a big part that we talked about was how positive we were about the comments that Vanessa Kirby had made,
Still am.
and how concerned we were about the comments that Joseph Quinn had made. And I'm wondering if some of that is playing in. And I already had like some of my little concerns that I got crap for from the first trailer, and this didn't really do something to alleviate that. However, there are things that the trailer did do that did elevate other aspects. You know, like I'm sure what I'm going to say is like my own version of things you both have already said. The world is really cool. I've been reading like Fantastic Four comics for the first time ever, and I don't even know how many I've read at this point, but a pretty good amount. And so it's pretty cool to see like this world coming to life, and I'm really happy with the whimsical sci-fi tone. I love how sci-fi alien all this is feeling. Like they go to space and they get some powers and they're loved and they're I don't know what commentary they'll be doing, but like they look human, so we accept you.
Right.
And then like Galactus comes and it's like, oh, threat, alien threat.
Silver Lady.
Surfer comes, threat, go, Human Torch, attack, you know? And it's interesting to see what they might be doing commentary-wise there, or if it's just, you know, sci-fi shit that they're pulling off, because they did have like two of the same beat in the trailer of Silver Surfer comes, they're looking up, all seriousness, what the hell, what do we do? And then Galactus comes, serious shot, looking up, what do we do? And I like, so it seems like it's dealing with the idea of like alien invasion threats and, you know, the commentary of that. The Thing, I every time I'm reading the Thing comics, he's very much, you know, woe is me, he hates his life, understandably so. I mean, come on, like it would suck to be the Thing. So I like how it's doing the inverse of that. He seems to get his joy from the reaction and response that people are giving to him. You know, like the whole moment with the kids, I thought was really cute. That was a very beautiful moment. I would have to meet you on the dinner table scene with the pregnancy. I was like, there's something about like,
And that's their pick. That's their pull for moment.
I'm wondering if like I'm wondering if it'll play like charmingly offbeat and quirky in the actual movie. Like that's the benefit of the doubt I want to give. But a lot of it, and even it did feel stiff, and a lot of it is back to like, why does everything seem so stoic in the personality dynamics with everyone? Weirdly, outside of the Thing, the Thing is the one character.
He's vibing, man.
The Thing is the one guy who actually seems to have like a bit of a sad looseness to him, like that kind of thing where you're so sad, but you don't want to like impart that sadness onto others, but you know they're sad underneath the rock hard surface that they have.
Sure.
You know, and so there's like personality dynamics that we're picking up on. Do you know what quotes we're talking about, by the way?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, one day. but yeah, I like the stretchy thing, and they're definitely improved. They have to get that shit down. It didn't look bad. I'll give it that. Like, it really didn't look bad there.
I think Sue looks like her effects look incredible. I think that's my favorite upgrade from the old to the new is like the light refracting versus just transparency, because that's how she manipulates it. She controls the waves, and you can see that in this version. So all the Sue stuff is probably, along with Ben Grimm's, what I'm most excited for. It's just that's only 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
I imagine we won't see too much of Pedro Pascal stretching outside of the suit, because I feel like the material they use lends for the stretching to look more plausible, more believable.
Whereas your poor stretching didn't look great.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Miss Marvel, they were like, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's give her lights. But yeah, it's funny. I'm a little bit of an odd man out on this one.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
I feel like we're the odd man.
Yeah.
No.
I think everyone is super excited for this. I'm not going to read the comments in this video.
I feel like, okay, like there's really quick to interject. There's 2 camps of the internet that we often, if we're going to go binary, which I don't believe in, but if we are going to, it's like there's the side of the internet that loves to rage bait people, and there's the other side that seems to be like, oh, we are afraid to express that, let's go all positive, right? And generally, if people put us into a camp, they're going to put us into the positive side and always ignore when we are negative, right?
Sure.
So
when we are negative, they're not going to listen to why we're negative. They're just going to go, they just hate it now. They hate Marvel now.
and we tend to
Can't win.
we tend to attract the crowd that it can be more open-minded, can be more positive.
Yeah.
So I think in that crowd, which we tend to attract, Coin are usually, I feel like will be a little bit more than even though
Which
I'm
I
like,
prefer.
I'm like 75-80% really liking this
Yeah,
trailer
yeah.
a lot, but another 20% really outshines. So yeah, no, that's all I wanted to clarify.
My bar going into this movie is having just watched Brave New World. So I'm like,
Sure.
Oh, this is gonna way be better than that shit.
guaranteed.
By a lot. Yeah.
but I'm like, okay, this looks like it actually has heart mixed with the heroism. And I'm curious to see what the Fantastic Four within this context looks like, because it seems like they've been overwhelmingly loved, but two, that comes from success after success, or whether that be through heroism or that be through their scientific achievements. So I feel like putting them in a position where it truly seems like it's the odds that they've never experienced before, not only for them as heroes, how is that going to test them, but how is that going to test the world's faith in them as the protagonist. I'm excited for that. As far as the dinner scene goes, I don't know. I feel like Joseph Quinn felt like Joseph Quinn to me. Like maybe not exactly the Johnny Storm we're accustomed to, but also it's a trailer, so it's like cut up. I thought it was weird how much screen time Pedro Pascal had, but very little dialogue. I feel like I didn't really get.
I think that's
going to
be how he plays them. So my concern is that the read of comics to me is someone you would not want to have a beer with. Like the dude is arrogant. He's like standoffish, and Sue is kind of the way you're like. He's got to be a good man because Sue tolerates it. Like and whereas Pedro's like the coolest dude ever, I'd want to have a beer with him.
Right.
My concern is to balance the fact that they cast Pedro, it's going to be like reserved and silent. And I'm like, that's not to me Reed, and this definitely is not Human Torch to me. So if 2 out of 4 don't feel like the characters, then it's like not the family.
I guess my main thing is I didn't get like a sense of like group chemistry, and I think when you're pitching ensemble, that's so important. I feel like the Thunderbolts trailer succeed very well.
If you told me 5 years ago, I would think the family dynamics would be stronger in a Thunderbolts movie than FF, or even that to be more excited for Thunderbolts than FF. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you think would have like made it if we got like a mini scene of like them all bantering back and forth?
Hardcore comedy.
But that's what's tricky about the knee-jerk reaction. And also, I think
Just
that
Herbie jumping on Reed over and over.
like I think of FF as awe and fun, right? Like I think there's a sense of awe, but there's also a fun to the adventure. This felt like 90-10, and I think it need to be like 60-40.
Okay.
Which is strange because I did like the idea of like, oh, they're celebrated as heroes, and the second they get a threat like this, I think they position the stakes really well where they are scared, and then it's presenting to heroism where we are afraid.
Love that.
But
I
we
agree.
have to go up against this, so it's going to require courage. You know, we don't just got shit handled. We are going to have to put our intellect together, and we're going to have to put our strength together, and we're going to have to work together to save the world right now. Yeah. So I think they did a great job on selling that. It's this other stuff that, I don't know. Again, no, look, you're absolutely right. I already had the thought, but you're right. It is just a trailer. So by the time the movie comes out, all this will get wiped away. Even like, comic stuff.
Once you sit down, I sit down, I'm just watching the movie, and I think this is going to give me a greater sense of awe than I've had since Avengers. I think, or No Way Home. For me, Avengers and No Way Home is when I have that sense of like spectacle and wonder. This feels like I must watch an IMAX. This feels like it's going to be an incredible like 60s space race. Like I love space movies for that sense of awe and wonder, like Gravity and Interstellar. Like I think it's going to give us that. My only concern is I also love Marvel's First Family, and I don't know if I'm going to get what I connect to with that family and the awe. So like I said, I think it's going to be a different ratio. They're playing levels differently than I would have. That doesn't mean I'm not going to love the movie. I just think that all my concerns I've had up until this point are just more. But whether or not that is the movie or not, I agree with you.
I think the trailer, from my experience, like it is lacking on the comedy side, even though I feel like there being not as much comedy, I do feel the levity from the environment, and I feel like where there lacks comedy from the dynamic within the team themselves, I feel like they're going to elevate with heart. Because I think back to that moment in the first trailer, it's so quick, but you see Ben, I think he's in a suit talking with Sue, and I feel like that's not really a dynamic we've explored in previous Fantastic Four movies. So I'm excited to see how those things kind of present themselves. Also, Sue and Reed's relationship, and we get a little bit more of Johnny and Sue as well. So yeah, I think we'll get a lot of those one-on-one moments. But yeah, I agree. We haven't really seen how all 4 of them interact together, because that's the bread and butter of what this thing is.
Oh yeah, or not even really like even Sue and Reed. Like we didn't really get the chemistry of that. And to me, it's always at the end of the day, it's all about character to me. I mean, it's Fantastic Four, and this is your introduction to the characters. it is selling you on the characters more than the world that they live in is so much more important. And yeah, and I guess it's not so much about comedy, but about having more of that.
The dynamics of the character.
A sense of fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
awe and fun.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah.
But it won't matter. We didn't like it. People are already mad at us. They didn't listen this far.
Yeah,
They're
we're
already
gonna-
mad.
Yeah,
Done.
what are you going to do? They saw the thumbnail and assume we already loved it too. All right, you guys think of the trailer, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. And hey, check out that pod when you get a chance too. Put a lot of work into it, and a lot of people probably just showed up to be like, "Why didn't you react to the Fantastic Four trailer?" Because they thought we woke up at
Those
7.
comments will drive it too. It's great.
They
We'll
thought we
get
woke up
people
at
in each unit
6 in
going
the
like,
morning
"Where's
and
the
shot
other
up-
thing?"
We woke up at 6, shot a pod, edited, and completely ignored the Fantastic Four trailer. That's how
what we
roll.
chose to do.
All right, we'll see you guys.